Okay, so this is going to be a quick little video for people new to poker, sitting in a tournament for the first time. My sister got a hold of me and she asked me to kind of help her out with what should I do, what should I shove with. It's a turbo tournament. Blinds go up probably every 15 minutes or so. So this is kind of a remedial. If you know poker already, this probably won't help you, but if you're brand new to poker, this might. These are the basic positions. You have the small blind, the big blind under the gun. And basically, when I talk about different hands you should shove with or play with, under the gun means you got a whole bunch of people acting after you, right? So you're first to act after the big blind. So you want to have a tighter range to open with. So if you raise, you probably want to raise with ace 10 suited or better, maybe pocket nines or better, and probably don't want to raise more than that. When you get back here to the cutting and the butt off, now you have less people to go through. So if it gets folded all the way to you and you're on the button, and let's say you have king nine suited, you actually can raise. Or you would never do that under the gun because you got to get through all these people. But on the button, you can go ahead and raise. So quickly here, I'm going to look at kind of a typical opening range. Opening means you're raising. Typically in a tournament, you want to raise just double the big line or 2.5 big lines. So the blinds are 4 and 8. You want to raise to like 1,600 or 2,000, kind of typical. The more people that enter, the more you want to raise. So for example, if there's a limper, if it's 4 and 8 and you got another 8, now instead, since you have extra money in there, you probably want to raise to like 2,400 instead of 1,600. Be a good idea. Charge the limpers. And this would be a typical kind of starting hand. You know, your suited aces, ace queen, ace jack, queens. These are the kind of hands you want to be raising with. Um, and, you know, here, fives and fours, ace two suited. You probably want to be more towards the later position, but in early position, um, for example, in early position, you don't really want to raise jack 10 off or queen 10 off. But when you're on the button, you're fine. You can go ahead and raise with those. So this kind of gives you an idea of what hands you should be opening and raising and playing with. Um, again, there's three betting. Three betting is basically re-raising a raise. So let's say somebody raises and then you have like aces or kings, ace king suited, any of these four hands right up here, even queens and jacks, kind of these hands, these are your premium hands. You want to re-raise the raise. So let's say they make it 16, you go ahead and make it 4,000. Go ahead and charge them because you have a premium hand. And then, of course, if you have aces and kings and they come back over the top, you're never folding aces or kings. Um, Ace king suited, you're probably not folding either. But again, everything is player dependent and how tight you think people are. That gives you an idea. On the button, I would open or I'd raise with jack 10 off. I'd open with king nine suited. I'd open with threes or twos. But under the gun, these hands I would not open with. I wouldn't raise at all with. So kind of the cutoff point, you know, is just kind of what you're seeing here. Now, with tournaments, you're actually going to get to a point where you're going to have to shove all in. And if you're anything under 10 big blinds, and you get 10, 9, 8 big blinds, you start getting short like that. Really, when you get to about 8 big blinds, you want to start thinking, okay, crap, you know, I'm getting short. You don't want to blind out. If you just keep playing normally, you're going to blind out and run out of chips and it's going to be over and you don't want to blind out. So once you start getting to the under 8 big blinds, you have to start shoving, going all in with these hands here from early position. So I would actually maybe just start with sevens plus, um, you know, maybe a suited ace. I'd probably start with ace 10 suited plus in early position. Kind of my cutoff has always been like when looking at different charts, ace 10 suited and eights plus from early position. Once you get under 10 big blinds, that's really from here on up. That's really where you want to start going all in for 10 big blinds. And then when you're in a later position, let's say now I'm in the hijack, which is one off the button. Now you're going to want to shove a lot wider. You're going to want to shove really with any ace, especially any suited ace, any pair. You're going to be shoving a lot wider, more hands, because you have less people to get through. The idea here is to just really pick up the blinds and hope that there's less of a chance someone has a big hand behind you. So, you know, 10-9 suited is not a fantastic hand, but if it gets folded to you and you only got to get through two people, you got a lot of fold equity, which means they're going to be folding a lot because most of the time no one has anything. So, and then if they do call, you're not in bad shape. You know, you don't want to be shoving with these garbage hands, jack deuce or anything like that. But these are the hands that if you're on the button, go ahead and shove with pocket force, you know, with queen 10 suited. with king 10 off. That's a good enough hand on the button in late position to go ahead and shove with. So I am not sure what else I can talk about here. I'm getting really basic as far as positions and hands you want to shove with, hands you want to play. Um, Basically, when you talk about flush draws and straight draws and chasing those draws, your math on that is basically 4-1. So if there's 80 in the pot and it's 20 to call, with one card to come and you're chasing a flush, you have the right price to call. But you have to be careful with tournaments because a lot of times in tournaments, even if you're getting the right price, is it worth it? Because chips are worth a lot more in tournaments than they are worth in the cash game. So sometimes you don't want to chase. And if someone basically has a flush draw, and you say you have a flush draw, sorry, and someone jams, you can turn around and chase if you want, but they have to bet a small amount. If they bet really small and you're getting 4-1, go ahead and call, see if you can hit. But if they bet the pot or over the pot, um, then fold. It's really not worth chasing in a tournament. So any of your draws, when you have like two hearts and there's two hearts on the board, you're trying to make a flush. If they're betting big, just fold your hand. If they're betting real small, go ahead and call, see if you can hit. And that's about all I have to say. There's a lot more to poker than this, but I think this will give you kind of a starting point as far as what to play, what not to play. Little pocket pairs, if it's cheap, if it's just for a min raise, you really want to call with those because you're hoping to hit a set. Basically, if you have pocket twos and a two comes on the board, and then you got a monster, and you can usually take it down. Someone bets, you can raise them, and stack them for a lot of chips. Typically in the lower level tournament, if someone raises, you want to go ahead and call with. Let me pull a chart back up. I'm saying opening, but as far as calling, if someone raises an early position, you want to re-raise with these hands, kings, queens, jacks, premium hands, and some of these other hands, pocket pairs. If it's for a min raise, go ahead and call with those to see if you can hit the set. If you're deep enough, you want to be deep enough. Basically, the rule is 10 times the amount. So, for example, if a guy has you want to make 10 times the amount on your bet. I don't want to be too confusing here, but if someone min raises and it's only another $800 and you think you can get 8,000 out of them and their stack is 8,000 behind, because you're going to hit that set like 1 out of maybe 8 times. So you just kind of round it up to 10. So if you think you can stack them and they have a deep enough stack behind, then you can go ahead and call for a set. If they're really short, you can't do that because it's not worth the implied odds. But yeah, that's basically why you want to call with small pairs. You want to call with your queen jack suited, your king jack off. A lot of these hands you can go ahead and just call, re-raise with your premiums up here. And hopefully that was helpful to give you an idea what to play, what not to play. This is quick and basic. Just kind of made it for my sister to kind of tell her kind of intro to tournament poker. And I guess if you have questions, go ahead and type them in the comments. That's it, guys. Thanks.